Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? If you can hear me loud and clear, do me a favor, let me know inside of the chat. That would be fantastic. Steve Adam, what's up? What's up? Steve says spiffy. It's cold here, man. I'm not used to wearing jeans and a long sleeve shirt. Hey, Carolyn Huff, good to see you. Good to see you. I know that there's a whole lot more than two people on. Come on now. Let's see. So Elmer, we call him Ryan, is going to be on this webinar too. He's part of the team. He's been around here, part of the Digital Triggers team for a long time. You guys have probably talked to him in support, Ryan Claudio. So I'm going to make Ryan an organizer. This is going to be Ryan's first webinar that I think he's ever been on. So Ryan, I made you an organizer. The most important thing is, if any reason you got to jump off the webinar or anything like that, just make sure that there's a little pop-up and it'll ask you if you want to end the webinar. Obviously, don't ever do that. Funny enough, I've done that a couple of times. So it's not a good thing. All right. So the other thing, Ryan, is just to ensure that you know where the mute and unmute is. And then the questions box you should be able to see, and you should be able to start helping people inside of there. So like you can see, Carolyn Huff said, nice to see you too. Like just shoot her a message that says, hey, Carolyn, it's Ryan, or something like that. And that'll be your first message sent. Cool. All right, guys. So it is just after the top of the hour. It's 3:01. So we're going to go ahead and get things kicked off. Real quick, Frankie Allen, good to see you. Good to see you. James Saunders, Roger Matthews, welcome, welcome. Jason Moss, Philip Davis. All right. Welcome, guys. Frankie says, Joe, I think I'm going to try your diet January 1st, 2019. Do it, dude. Do it. 28% body fat to 18% body fat in 60 days, 90 days. Definitely be doing a training on that the beginning of the year. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. All right. So the first question that we have is from Philip. And Philip asks, what is the best business model for someone that has the attention span of a gnat? And I just absolutely freaking love the way that Philip phrased this question. Thanks, Philip, for being open and for being honest. This is such a better way of saying it than just the short attention span, right? I think that you're in the right place, right? Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, I think is great for somebody that has a very short attention span. If I like the conversation that you start with me, I'm 100% all in, and I am like super focused on it, right? If not, you'll find my eyes wandering, and I'm like, yeah, I get bored really easy, right? So good luck holding me in a conversation. And I think that 90% of business owners in that regard are really the same. So that's the good news for you. So what's the best business model for you? I think the better question is, what's the right business structure, right? And what I mean by that is what's going to support you in being in that role, right? And having the attention span of a gnat, right? What kind of business structure do you need to set up so that you can do you? So that you can be who you are, right? Instead of you trying to change yourself, because that's not probably going to happen. Okay. A lot of models, business models, can get you there. At the end of the day, I think you need to embrace that you have the attention span of a gnat. I think that you need to embrace that, like most entrepreneurs, you're probably a pioneer. You're probably a trailblazer. You're probably a solutions expert. You're not one that's going to want to implement that solution, though, day in and day out for the next 10 years, right? You would drive yourself mad. So I think the duty and the responsibility of a business owner in any business is to work on a project, right? Once that project is off, it's running, you got it proven, you got it working, you got some type of systems or support to back it up, right? Then you hand it off to your team and you jump into the next thing. So I've done lots of videos talking about this and how you should go about building your business in this way. So I don't want to dive on this too long, but I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of business models that will help support you, right? And that will support you. I think at the end of the day, though, you really need to be thinking about how you're going to structure your business so they will support you in that role of being very much project basis. All right, so next question is all about outsourcing SEO. So this is a big one. We get asked probably once a day or every other day, who do you recommend to do SEO for me? Or do you have a vendor that can do my white labeled SEO? Or do you have somebody that I could just pay to do my SEO or my SEO outsourcing? And I want to once and for all, hopefully nip this question in the bud, so to speak. Is it nip it in the butt? Nip it in the bud? I'm not really sure, but I want to really tackle this question once and for all. All right, so at the end of the day, why would you want to outsource your SEO? I mean, labor costs can be better, or labor prices can be better. At the end of the day, though, I think the biggest thing is that you scale your time and you save some money, right? At the end of the day, that's why everybody should be outsourcing, right? Give me a 2 in the chat if you're trekking along. That makes sense, right? Right, Frankie? Right, Philip? At the end of the day, I see some people have a very negative connotation with outsourcing. There's nothing wrong with it. Like sometimes us Americans, especially, like we think we're just freaking smarter than everybody, and it couldn't be further than the truth, right? There's nothing wrong with outsourcing. And, depending on different economies, people make different wages. There's nothing wrong with utilizing different parts of the world and using that to your benefit, right? Ryan Claudio that's on the call is from the Philippines, right? Quite a few members on our team are. They're just as smart as you are, right? They just are raised from somewhere else, right? Their economy is different. Things cost different amounts of money. Okay, I completely agree. I completely support the Philippines as well. In fact, if I didn't outsource in specific parts of my business and businesses over the years, I wouldn't have been able to scale, and therefore I wouldn't have been able to really hire Americans, period. Right? Because, somebody right out of college wants at least 50 grand a year just to start, right? And then you got to pay them, right? You got to pay them all, you got to pay the government all the taxes and all the fees on top of their wage, right? W-2 employees are expensive. Okay, so thank God for outsourcing, or my business, I'm sure, wouldn't be where it is at today. Okay, I think though that unfortunately, 99% probably, 9 out of 10 at least of the people that I speak to are completely outsourcing wrong. Some of them felt like they've gotten burned, right? Some of them have just had horrible experiences. Some of them are left with just kind of a lackluster, like, yeah, that didn't really work. And so what I want to share with you guys today is the shift in mindset that I believe that you need to have in order to outsource correctly. See, I need you to think about this in a different aspect, right? Have a different train of thought, okay? I don't want you to think that I'm going to train someone to do your SEO, right? Or you're going to train someone to do your client's SEO that you're getting paid for, right? Instead, you should train someone to geotag images for Google My Business and set the corresponding or correct categories inside of GMB. You'll want to train somebody how to create location pages on your website. Come up with a process for that. Do 100% train someone to go set up pillow links for your site. And by pillow links, I mean citations. I mean Web 2.0 sites, right? Local directories, okay? All of the things that you've been taught. By all means, 100% do train someone to do an indexing audit once per month. I have a great tutorial for you guys on our website all about that, right? Take that process, go through it, understand it yourself. And once you understand it yourself, you run it for yourself, right? Then put that into a system that you have done once a month by somebody else. Okay? At the end of the day, you want to train on micro processes like this. Okay? You don't want to outsource just your SEO. Trust me when I say you're asking for a pile of shit and a lot of fucking problems. You are. Okay? You have to break everything down into bite-sized pieces that literally anybody could follow. Just looking at my notes here, making sure I hit everything. So for me, once we get done with a process or creating a standard operating procedure, okay, you want to go through and you want to look at it with a different set of eyes. So you want to take a couple minute break. And this just happened the other day. We were bringing on and onboarding some designers for our new site at Digital Triggers. Okay, so we created a brief, okay, for the designers. Here's what we want our featured images to look like. Okay, and I had Xandro, one of the team members on our team, write this thing up, and designers started submitting, right, work for the featured images, and all of them are getting everything wrong, like all of them. I'm like, hey man, Xandro, knock knock, can I see that brief? We need to chat about this. Everybody's getting this wrong. If everybody's getting it wrong, are the directions really that easy to understand? He's like, good point. And so I went and looked at it, and it was complicated, right? Everything was repeated 3 and 4 times, but in other sentences, and it wasn't short and to the point and easy to understand. You couldn't just look at it and in 30 seconds or 60 seconds understand what the hell you were supposed to do. No, like it was just too complex and too diluted to make any sense, right? So now, guess what? We fixed it. We cut it down, and we're already getting better responses back. We're getting better work back. So just a real life case study and real life use case for you guys, all right? Again, as the entrepreneur, like we talked about in the last video, your job is to blaze the trail, all right? To figure out what to do, to figure out how to do it, to actually do it yourself, right? And then hand it off to somebody else to do it for you, okay? So turn to the experts in life for training. Okay, if it wasn't for me and hiring experts and paying them a whole lot of money, I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have today, okay, and I wouldn't be here today. Take those things, implement them into your business. It might take a little tweak to make them work perfectly, right? Systematize it, hand it off to somebody else to run day in and day out on your behalf. Okay, then all you got to do is manage the expectation. And that's one of the things that I don't talk about a lot, is once you turn it over, you got to make sure that you have an easy system, okay, to follow, to make sure that the train isn't running off the tracks. Okay, if it takes you an hour, okay, to QA the person or to actually make sure that your outsourcer is doing the job correctly, and it's taking the outsourcer an hour to do the task, you're just washing out your time, right? So you gotta figure out what the KPIs are, the key performance indicators. What do you have to look at so that in as little time as possible, you can ensure that the train is on the tracks, the process is being done correctly, and it's getting the end result. So that's it. And I would highly, highly suggest that you guys make me one of those experts that you listen to so I can help motivate you, I can help guide you. And when you fumble and you fall, we all will, we all do, it's all right. I'll be there to help you back up. Next question. What are the top 3 strategies to close more sales? Well, in all reality, the question from Shane says, I want to know your thoughts on closing clients and your top 3 strategies to do that. Proposal, things to say at the meeting, the offer. I meet with some big potential clients and I want to get better at closing them. He then says, I have about a 50% closing rate. So first and foremost, Shane, if you already have a 50% closing rate, you need to increase your prices by probably 20 to 30%. Right now. 50% is great, right? And just go increase your prices right now, 20 to 30%, okay? Then, right, go have some more meetings and see what your close rate is. Okay, as long as it doesn't drop by much, that's your new price point. And at the end of the day, I bet it's not gonna drop by much. Your closing rate is not gonna drop by much, all right? So the first time that I did this, I increased my prices by 20%. I didn't go for 30 because I was scared shitless, right? 20%, yep, no problem. My web design and web development company, I thought I was crazy, went out and did it. People didn't even flinch. Boom, 20% increase, right? 20% increase in my pay at the end of the day. I got the pocket because I already took out all the costs and everything into consideration, right? So go take that raise, okay? Then step 2 is let's stack these 3 things on top of it and you'll be closing even more sales, all right? Which means you can raise your price again. So first and foremost, I want you to just step back from the process a little bit. And I want you to think about how you can build trust and authority. And 2 words that I like to use as well, besides trust and authority, is perception and engagement. So think about the life cycle of a customer or of a prospect for you, right? And think about ways that you can build trust, right? How you can think about your prospect's perception and how you can change their perception. What would you need them to see? How would you want them to feel, right? To build trust and authority. And then on the second side of that, the second half, this is still just one thing. I want you to think about how you can engage them, right? How can you engage with them, right? So for you guys, we just added live chat to the Digital Trigger site. How many of you guys have seen that? Let me know in the chat. Just give me a 1 or a question mark or a dash. I don't care, right? And we're engaging you guys, right? You sit on the site for a couple of seconds. I'm asking you what I can help you with, right? Do you need a specific piece of content today, right? Do you have a question on one of our products, right? I'm actively going after you and engaging you because I want to help you solve your problem. Okay? If I can help you solve your problem faster, that's going to be good for me, right? And you're going to be like, damn, Digital Triggers is freaking on it. Ryan Claudio in the chat is on it. Joe Troyer is on it, right? So think about how you can build trust and authority. And again, just another way of looking at it is perception and engagement, okay? So for building trust and authority, right? What if after a prospect comes to your website, you show them retargeting ads, right? And the retargeting ads are you in your face and it's as seen on type of banner ad campaign, okay? Well, how about the next one is, or a video, right? And then how about the next ad that they see after that, right? Let's say later that day or the next day is you doing an interview with a client and the client saying how you got them a 10x ROI on their ad spend, right? You got a 10x ROAS, return on ad spend, right? And then you create an image version of it and it's a little bubble of your customer telling them how amazing they are. And you make that show up in Gmail ads, right? Just think about that. Think about the trust and authority and the perception of the consumer, right? Your prospect, if you did something like that. Tell me that you wouldn't close twice as many deals. Well, you wouldn't because you'd be at 100% because you're not charging enough, but you get my point. Okay, so step back. Have a couple brewskis. If marijuana is legal where you live, maybe, have a little puff of that, right? Get in a different space and be on the outside. Look in. Think about this. Really think about how you could change, right? People's perception of you, right? How you can build trust and authority and how you can build engagement. So next up, in everything that you do, right, you should be showing and telling. In most people's pitches, they're doing more telling than they are showing, right? And so it's lip service, dude, right? So show and tell, okay? So flip it around. It's not tell and show, it's show and tell, right? Show them that you're an expert. Show them what you're gonna do for them. Show them how you're gonna help them. Don't just trash talk their previous marketing company or their current marketing company or their current developer because they messed up a bunch of crap. Show them, educate them, right? Whenever I put together any type of proposal, okay, I always put it together so I'm showing them a solution, okay, and then I'm showing them the alternative. Okay, here's what the solution is going to do. And if you keep doing things like you have been, this is going to be the alternative, right? So you can either do this or you can do this. Which one do you want, Mr. Prospect? Yeah, I want to fix things. Okay. And you can talk about money that you're going to save them. You can talk about money that you're going to make them. You can talk about how you're going to make them healthier, right? Whatever your product does, right? You can obviously talk about the benefits, but then you can also talk about what happens if they don't do what you're recommending that they do. Let's bring this home. If it's SEO, for example, show them search volume. Okay, show them how there's expected click-through rates. Okay, and really dummy down the numbers. Here's your conversion rate. Okay, and on a small scale, if we got you to here in terms of rankings, this is what you could be making, right? Break that down for them. Help them freaking understand your value. Most of you guys selling SEO and PPC, you're just not telling the prospect clear enough what the hell you're going to do for them. And at the end of the day, point number 3, if that's not a tangent enough, make an amazing freaking offer. Okay, do whatever you can to back it up, right? Make it easy for people to get started. Figure out what the bottleneck truly is. Is it money today that they don't, that they're afraid of? Is it money tomorrow that they're afraid of, right? Meaning they don't want to be on a long-term contract. Do they need to see results first, right? Build something around that, okay? Do you need to build in risk reversal and you think that'll be the best, right? But start figuring out what the real issues are, okay? Why people aren't buying. When somebody tells you no, or they're going to sit and think about it, no problem. What do you want to think about, right? I'm just curious, what would we have to do to close the deal today? And I'm not here to pressure you, right? But how can we get this deal done? What are your concerns? What's your number one concern, Mr. Prospect? So if that was good, that was helpful, let me know. There's a little different one for me, right? Give me a 3 in the chat. That would be great. All right, cool. Awesome. Fantastic. Good stuff. All right, so the next question comes from Roger. Roger asked, Joe, before you build out your GMB listing, and Roger, you're on this call. Well done, brother. Before you build out your GMB listing, should your website be totally optimized with keywords and totally completed? I think you originally said building out your GMB, then getting your citations and ACT setup was the order that you thought made the most sense when completing your site. So this is a really good question, Roger. At the end of the day, the issue is that there's lots of circumstances, right, where this order could be a little different. So let's walk through 2 examples. So if you're starting from scratch, I think it would be this order. Okay, this is like the best order, I believe, when starting from scratch, right? So you get a call tracking phone number. We use analytic call tracking for that, obviously, through Twilio. Next up, I would get an MVP landing page set up, a very basic website, right? So when somebody goes to my website, we have the basics up there. Landing page with hours, address, services, etc. Just super simple, okay? And this goes for, like, guys, any type of real business, right? You need a phone number. Your website better have something on it, or when you turn to get a merchant account and everything else inside of your business, they're going to go look it up and be like, yeah, you don't even have a website. Yeah, denied. Okay, so after the landing page MVP, I would then go fully build out a Google My Business account. Okay, fully built out. Okay, next is citations. Okay, do the citations after. Obviously, you need your website address, you need your phone number, you need your business name. You're not going to have all that stuff until you get to here anyway. And then once you've ordered the citations, you got your GMB built out, then and only there would I work on a quote unquote like complete website build out. Okay, so this is like from scratch, like best case scenario, all the stars align if you're doing client work, right? And everything happens just like that. This would be like best case scenario. Okay, if you have an existing business that you're working with, whether it's your business and you're trying to get it to rank better or it's a client's business, right? Same thing, go to analytic call tracking, okay? Get a phone number to use for tracking, okay? Here's where it gets different. Go into the Google My Business account and add the phone number that you just purchased from analytic call tracking. Okay, once you add it, you're gonna set that phone number as the primary phone number, okay? So the phone number that they have already on Citations or Google My Business and they have floating around out there on the interweb somewhere, okay, that phone number will still be inside of your Google My Business account. It's just not gonna be the primary. Okay, so Google will still correlate that phone number though with your listing, which means you're not gonna have a change in ranking. We've been doing this for literally years, probably almost 2 years now, okay? Now we get the benefits of having call tracking, okay? So now we get to show our client what's actually happening, how many phone calls they're getting. And I just did a post maybe a month ago on the Digital Triggers blog showing the difference. And it is freaking asinine. You know, Google My Business or Google Insights, Google My Business Insights is telling me for the month, I got like 30 calls. And for the week, I got 30 calls. That's the difference in the reporting. Crazy. So once you have analytic call tracking in there or call tracking number inside of Google My Business and it's set as the primary, then I would go do the website MVP, okay, do the full GMB build out. If I would then go do citations and I go get all the citations that haven't been claimed yet, okay? And you're not going to use that analytic call tracking phone number, right? You're gonna use the old phone number, okay? So that all of the phone numbers are congruent, okay? So the name, address, phone number that's displayed all over the web, except for Google My Business, is all the same, okay? And then I would do a complete site build out, meaning all the SEO, all the service pages, all the location pages, right? Full SEO optimization, right? So that would be how I would do it for an existing business. Does that make sense? So because you're on, Roger Matthews, any quick questions before we move on, man? Did that cover it? You good to go? Give me a thumbs up, give me something in the chat, all right, brother? Take a quick swig of this Powerade. All right, great. So when SendWire, when backlinks. Okay, great. So yeah, so basically then, while you're doing this, you can start building out your social profiles, right? I kind of view it as like the citation step. It's all kind of the same. So citations, Web 2.0s, social sites, all of that can happen at the same time. And a lot of these citations, if you order a bunch of them, you know, there's only so many local directories. So they're going to go get you on a lot of the top social media, social bookmarking, except, you know, et cetera type of sites in this step, in the citation step. Right, then moving forward, as you build out the complete site, you're going to want to use SendWire then. Okay, so you just drop out a new location page. And the location page for a local business is basically, we service this location. Here's our address in this location. If you have a physical address in this location, here's some houses that we've done in this location or some people that we've serviced in this location. Here's some photos that are geotagged to this physical location. And if you need help in this physical location, call us, right? Or take whatever call to action you guys are giving them. That's what a service or what a location page is. So as you're building out these location pages and services pages, these are very important that these not only get indexed in Google, but also rank in Google. So one of the easiest ways to use SendWire is to use SendWire to help build out some internal links, meaning the links aren't just going to your homepage, right? They're going to your services page, your location page, if you're a local business, right? If you're not a local business, right? Let's say that you're an e-com business, the same is true, right? Your categories need internal links or links pointing to them so that they stay indexed or they get indexed so that they can rank, and so do your product pages. Let's see, Roger Matthews says, thanks, Joe, awesome, big help, not a problem at all, man. Can one build out GMB for many locations with one Google account? Yes, would never recommend it. Covered that on the last AMA. Bolo, you can go take a look on the YouTube channel for that answer. All right, so next up, Brian asks, do you buy expired domains or auction domains? So Brian says, I know that you're not doing stuff with PBNs and you think they're a thing of the past, at least for you. Do you start clean with a newly registered domain, or do you buy expired domains or auction domains? So this is a great question. At the end of the day, 99% of the time, I'm starting fresh. And it's probably even higher than that. 99.5%. There's just kind of one caveat. I don't buy expired domains or auction domains almost ever. My thought process is really simple though. If I can buy a website, and preferably a website, not just a domain that is already established, right? I approve of the domain. Like, I like it. I look at the backlinks. They're clean. They're good. The website's nice. It's indexed. It has backlinks. Why would I start from scratch? Right? So I still get that concept, right? That's why people talk about auction domains and expired domains. But the thing at the end of the day that you got to understand is, 9 out of 10 auction domains aren't worth it, right? 495 out of 500 auction domains aren't going to be a fit. 999 domains, right, out of 1,000 listed probably aren't a fit for you. Okay, so just know that if you're going to play around, you're going to look at auction sites, you're going to look at expired domains, you're going to look at marketplaces like Flippa or elsewhere at domains. Understand that you're going to spend a lot of time just browsing and what I would call vetting. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really not. I've spent a lot of time doing that. I found some great deals, but understand that they're like once in a blue moon. Okay. I'll give you guys an example acquisition that would be worthwhile, so you can see like a real life example. And this site actually is for sale right now. So let's say that I want to start a site in the weight loss, health, kind of fitness market. Okay. I go out and I look for a site. I found one in about 5 minutes that was for sale. It was built 2 years ago, so it's got some age, right? Which in Google, that's good, right? It's not brand spanking new. The domain's making $300 a month profit. It's got over 100 root domains or unique domains linking to it. So it's got some good authority, right? Those are all votes from Google, and they're unique votes, right? They're not all family members, right? It's not, my family in Ohio, one person, one of my uncles or one of my cousins has like 13 kids, right? So it's not, 13 votes from one family. Got to make fun of us somehow. So it's got 100 root domains, which is great for authority, which is great for ranking. So domain authority, 31, looking at a Moz metric there for domain authority. So it's good. It's got a good, solid foundation. It has backlinks. Looking at the backlinks, they're all super clean. They're not sketchy. There's no foreign domains or weird backlinks or anything that I can tell he bought like PBN links or anything like that. And the guy wants $3,000 a month, or I'm sorry, $3,000 for the site. Okay. What do you guys think of this deal? If you're in this scenario, would you buy it? Let me know in the chat. I'm super, super curious. And for those of you guys later watching this video, wherever it ends up, LinkedIn, my YouTube channel at Digital Triggers or on the Digital Triggers blog, let me know in the comments as well. Let me know what you think. I'm curious. If you were in this scenario, what would you do? Would you buy it? Would you not? And then I'll give you guys my feedback, but I want yours first. I want to challenge your thinking as well as mine. Carolyn says no. So Carolyn, I'm curious, why not? Right? You're wanting to start a site in this market, right? The site was built 2 years ago. It's already making $300 a month. It's got a bunch of root domains. It's got domain authority. It's all super clean. It's indexed by Google. Can you find sites on Flippa still? Yeah, that's where I found this one. Carrie says, yes, it pays for itself with no work. Not for this price, below 1,000 would be okay. Okay, so James, for you, it's just about the price point, but other than that, it sounds like you would agree. So yes, for me, I would buy this in a heartbeat. And I have bought businesses from Flippa and websites from Flippa and other sites as well. And for me, the way that I would look at this is that, and again, this is a real site that I just went and found for the purpose of today's webinar. For me, I'd look at this as this gives me an asset that should pay for itself in 10 months, right? Should is the key. The thing is that it gives me a huge jump start, okay? Not only is the site paying for itself with work already done, okay, but now I'm gonna be able to accelerate my growth way faster and rank for a whole lot more keywords because this thing is established versus me waiting to build up that authority from scratch, okay? Frankie says 3K seems low. It's not low at all. 10 months earnings on sites like Flippa and around the marketplace that aren't premium marketplaces is definitely kind of a normal asking price. Okay. And I've bought stuff for this doing a lot more money than this. There's obviously other marketplaces too that things are selling for 3 years or 36 months times earnings, not just profit. Okay, so it really depends upon the marketplace and the buyer too at the end of the day. Okay, so you won't catch me buying an expired domain unless it's freaking amazing, or an auction domain unless it's amazing. But you could catch me doing this. This happens more often for sure. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys this example right here. Okay, this has happened to me as well, and it's happened way more times than I'm buying expired domains, especially these days. All right, so next question. This is really part 2 from Brian based upon that first question. So Brian asks, for broken link building, someone suggested I could scrape the links of an expired domain and then notify the webmasters that their links are dead, and hopefully get a link back if I supply them a link to relevant, fresh content better than what the expired domain has. Okay, so doing broken link building with expired domains. He said, I've tried looking at Wayback Machine to see what the original article was, and it doesn't always seem to work. Also, I can't afford Ahrefs right now. I've been using the free limited tools that seem inaccurate. Thanks again, buddy, for these awesome AMAs. So first, understand that 99% of auction domains aren't worth your time, okay? Don't spend a lot of time on any one site, okay? You may find maybe one site a month that's worth some deep investigation, okay? So just limit your exposure, so to speak. Second, broken link building 100% works, 100. But it comes down to a few factors. So first and foremost, how many prospects do you have to pitch? Okay. So if there's no prospects to pitch, it's not really worth it, right? Or if you can't find any, it's not worth it. So if Ahrefs is going to get you better results than the free tools, which is going to give you more prospects to pitch, it's worth it, right? Next up, do they like your pitch? Okay. Again, I would 100% recommend using Ahrefs to get the backlinks, even if you have to just pay for like the week or 14-day trial or whatever the current model is. There's some kind of paid short trial or something with Ahrefs. I have an active subscription. And then next, besides just going after broken links, you can go after mentions as well. Okay, and that will help you get a bunch more. Okay, so taking this deeper, Brian, because I want you to be able to walk away with this and really run with it. High level with broken link building in general, not just with expired domains, understand that it is a numbers game, okay? And that this is one technique to get backlinks, okay? So the only way that it makes sense for you to mess around doing this, the absolute only way that it makes sense, is to set up a process and walk away. At the end of the day, I'd probably shoot myself within a week of doing this if I had to do it long term, and I'm guessing you will too. Okay, so set up a process, please. Hand it off, right, and walk away from it. If I were you, I would also break this down into two positions, okay, two different people to protect yourself, okay? And what I mean by protect yourself is make sure that somebody doesn't get trigger happy with your dollar and with your pet, okay? First, okay, the first position, all that they do is find websites that link to broken links and link to broken domains, okay, that are in the same niche or the same type of target that would link to your site or your client site, okay? That's all that they do. And you only pay them for results, meaning they are on target, they make sense, and they're within the quality range that you like, okay? Then second is you pay somebody just to do the outreach to them, pitching them, right? To use your link instead of the other person's link, okay? And pay the second person a bonus, a bounty, or something based upon the results. Have some very tight expectations with them. And at the end of the day, if you're paying somebody and you're outsourcing overseas, even if you're paying them $5 an hour, you pick up a link or two a day, that is a freaking fantastic return on investment. But again, this is a numbers game. There's one technique to get links. You got to be able to set up the process and walk away, or it's not worth it long term. All right, next question comes from Isaiah Adams. So Isaiah asks, so I just got my first client for pay-per-call in the mobile dent repair niche. The site is ranking and my maps is ranking #1. And it was bringing in about 30 calls for the last month or so, but now the calls have stopped since Thanksgiving. Does it usually pick up after Christmas? So first things first, Isaiah, congratulations. Second off, understand that seasonality is gonna happen. Okay, holidays, seasonality can be freaking crazy, okay? But the severity of the seasonality is gonna depend on the niche. And there's a lot of things to take into consideration. So I just looked at a different niche. This is a service-based industry. So think like service calls type of niches, I'll leave it at that. 100 calls in November, 52 in December, and 48 in January. Okay, so historically looking at call volume for the month, 100 calls in November, 52 in December, and 48 in January. And this was just this past year. Okay, so big time. Call volume basically dropped in half for 2 months, not just 1, 2 months. Roofers, something else to think about. Roofers, for example, in cold climates, father's company in Ohio, shut down, like literally altogether, not doing any roofing. Okay, back to your specific example though. Looking at the mobile dent repair niche, I have been in that niche in many cities and many areas. Thankful to say I'm not anymore. Nothing wrong with the niche, just always happy to exit a vertical, have another checkbox, right? So I looked at some stats in the last 7 days in mobile dent repair specifically. Call volume still coming through. It's down, I would estimate maybe 30%. Okay, like month over month. So just a little heads up for you. In terms of seasonality, guys, I wouldn't worry about it too much. If your rankings are there, I wouldn't worry, right? So if you look at your call tracking and you're like, oh, crap, you know, call volume's down 30%. First thing I do is go look at my ranking report to see how I'm doing, okay? And I would use Bright Local for all my local rankings. As long as Bright Local is looking good, rankings are good, you don't see any crazy drops, I would just assume that it's, you know, the holidays or it's some type of seasonality. Okay, there's also just times that for no reason it's slow, right? And understand that that kind of stuff is going to happen. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for joining me on this AMA. As always, I need two things from you in order for me to keep doing these AMAs. And yes, I know it's ridiculous. I ask every time. I need questions. I need your questions. As of right now, again, we're staying about 1 to 1 week or a week and a half ahead of schedule in terms of questions for the AMAs. Meaning, if nobody asked another question today, you guys didn't jump on my call to action to go take a question, I could only do 1.5 more AMAs. So we'd be done at like Christmas. That sucks, right? So I need your help. I need your help with that, okay? I need you to go ask me a question in the AMA form so that I can get it up here, right? And we can keep doing these together. I know that I enjoy it and I get a ton of amazing feedback from you guys as well, thanking me for doing these, all right? Second thing is, how many of you guys have been watching a ton of our content on YouTube? Let me know inside the chat. You guys seeing YouTube blowing up every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern? Every single day with content, 9 a.m. Eastern? Every single day. Yeah, every day. Okay, go subscribe over to the YouTube channel. This is where all of the replays go as well. Okay, so Ryan's gonna thank me, guys. Ryan from support, Ryan Claudio. Basically every Thursday, you can count on, or he can count on getting multiple chat messages or emails saying, hey, is there a replay from yesterday? Guys, they all go up on the YouTube channel. We don't mail out a replay because it's the same every week. Every AMA goes up on the YouTube channel. So go hit subscribe, go hit the notification bell, okay? And then you're gonna be up to date and you'll get those notifications from YouTube automatically. And it just saves us one more step of emailing you out literally every week with the replay. Somebody asked when I asked for a favor, they said, money? Nope, I don't want any money. All the AMAs are free. I appreciate you guys being here. Have an awesome freaking week. Talk soon. Joe Troyer signing out.